If you're a fan of Mythic Legions, or just swords and sorcery in general, have I got a figure for you. Let's check it out. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, Justin Collects. Today, we're taking a look at a brand new line, the Savage Crucible from Harvinger Studios, I believe it's called. Anyway, this is the only one I've picked up from them so far, but I'm really excited about it. I've been looking forward to this figure ever since I saw them at Retro Toy Con. Saw this thing, a prototype of it, in person at Retro Toy Con last year, and I have been anticipating it ever since. But let's take a closer look at the figure. So before we get into the figure, we can take a look at this amazing packaging. See, it says Savage Crucible on the top. It is Velcro. Got a nice read up about the Lemurian Royal Guard right here. You can pause that if you want to read it. I really dig the backdrop, how it's like the map of their world. So I really like that. This packaging is simple enough, but you got the Velcro clasp right there. The package is simple enough, but also just really cool. I appreciate it. And another read up right there, if you want to pause that. Harvinger Studios logo right there, and the sides. So this packaging looks really good. And I know it's Harvinger Studios. I don't know why I keep wanting to say Harbinger. It's Harvinger. I don't know. But guys, taking a closer look at the Royal Guard here, and oh man, I'm just reminded what really made me fall in love with this figure when I saw an in-person prototype. It's just awesome. The posing is great, and we'll just get into everything I absolutely love. And there are some negative takeaways about this too. But guys, this is their first wave. This is one of their very first figures. So I'm just really excited about everything they can do going forward in the future. Just that color on the armor. I know it's mainly black, but just look at that. It's like I don't know, say it's like a kind of a copper-ish color, and just all the details, the snakes. So when I saw the Kickstarter for this, I really wasn't into it. I'm into swords and sorcery. I collect some Mythic Legions, but I'm very selective, right? I collect way too many lines. I can't go all in on stuff like this. This figure might change my mind a little bit. But, lizard people, I don't like snakes. So lizard people or reptile people, not really my cup of tea. But Retro Toy Con last year, walking around with my wife, the Savage Crucible team was there. I stopped by the booth and talked to some of the guys, and they had this guy on display. And I looked at my wife. I was like, yeah, I've got to have that figure. Like I said, I didn't get in on the Kickstarter. I actually got this guy from Big Bad, so Big Bad Toy Store. And, but man, I might have to backtrack and get some more. I know, Rocco the Great was telling me that he saw them in person at, I forget what the con was, but they were selling, product there in person. So you get a little bit of a straight from the dealer discount. And the unarmored, like just the blank kind of slate bodies, $20. That is ridiculous. I forget how much I paid for this guy. I think it was $35 from Big Bad. Last I checked, I think they were still either on pre-order or in stock, but I know they are starting to fulfill some of their orders.
And it's gone!
But I could just rant and rave about this guy. But let's get into the accessories. So I'm going to take a sword out of the hand right here. So he comes with a total of 4 weapons. And I'm just going to remove one of each. I do have one negative. They don't like to stand up, and this has been a known issue since some people got some samples. The ankles are a little loose, and I guess it doesn't help that they are at least, you know, my guy, he's top heavy. I kind of wish the tail was maybe a little longer. You could balance them a little better. And I also have a problem with my peg holes on the feet. I've tried a neck around stand. I've tried a Hasbro stand. I've tried some different stands with pegs, and I can't find one that really fits. He just keeps falling over. So I might get like some kind of dynamic stand to kind of clip around his waist to make sure he doesn't fall over. But man, I absolutely like this guy. But anyway, I got distracted there. The swords. So you get one that's kind of like a curved blade. You can see just the battle damage detail on this sword just looks absolutely amazing. Got the weathering on the handle there. Just great paint, great attention to detail. That looks really good. And then you get two of these. Sorry, I get it focused there. And you'll also get two of these. Just, it's got more of like a hook on the end. It's more of a straight blade. Kind of more of a broadsword type-ish. It's a bigger sword. All that damage on it just looks so nice. Oh. And so you also get two sets of hands. You get a set of kind of open hands. It's got nice white paint on there. And all the skin is textured. It's really nice texture. And this does have kind of the horizontal hinges. And then you get a set of sword holding hands. And these do have the vertical hinges to really help. And you can kind of, it's pliable. You can kind of open it up to help get those swords in there. I do recommend, and they recommend on the box, heating this guy. Like heating all their figures up. Just due to shipping and, you know, straight out of the factory. You know, joints can get a little tight. So it's better to be safe than sorry. I personally didn't have any trouble with mine. I was very easy with it when I got out of the packaging and just testing the joints. And nothing on mine was super tight. You do get on him these holsters. And I have a bit of an issue with these holsters. So you get two on the side and two on the back here. So they're fine. But they move a lot. And the weapons kind of want to pop out a lot. But I do understand why they did it this way. I guess so you can easily fit maybe some future weapons and just make it more modular. And I do like how in the back, right here, oh, let me turn that. You can have them going straight down, or I like the look of them being kind of crisscrossed. So from the front, I feel like that gives it a better profile like that. And I find it easier to keep the bigger ones on the back. And if I can get this to cooperate. So the ones on the side are a little tighter. Trying to do this on camera is a little difficult. You can see I was a little warped, a little tighter. And that fits in right there. So it is awesome. So it is a big bonus for me, a big plus, when a figure can hold all of its weapons on him. But let me take the swords off, and we can take a look at the articulation. I just don't want him to be hindered with the swords on there. So, looking at him, and we can kind of just look at all the detail while we're going over articulation. He does have an articulated jaw that opens up about, yeah, that much. That opens up really far. Just look at the paint on those eyes. Oh, man. And like I said, the texturing on the skin, the paint, all the detail. You can look up that far. You get some tilt. You give him a little bit of attitude. He does have some painted teeth in there, too. That looks really nice. look down about that far, and it can do a full 360. And so the armor you can pop off. I don't want to pop mine off. It has these pegs right here, and these on the shoulders, I guess you call them the pauldrons, I think they're called, are separate pieces, so they're free floating. They peg into the back of the arms. I did have one pop out, and it was a pain in the rear end to get it to pop back in and actually stay back in. So he does have a cut up here on the diaphragm, so he can tilt, and spin. And I believe he has a ball joint on the bottom too. The armor is kind of covering that, so he doesn't twist as much on the bottom. I don't want to force it. I think a lot of it is limited by the armor. But those two combined, try to keep the leg straight, he's going to be looking down that much, leaning forward that much, and leaning back that much. And when you lean him back, you do see a gap right there. But that sculpting, like the abs, see a snake with abs, a reptile guy with abs, that's crazy. Just all the detail in this armor. No drop down hips, and I honestly don't care. Drop down hips usually kind of scare me, but the legs, his armor does hinder him a little bit. I don't want to force it. It kicks out that much. Let's try the double jointed knees out. It kicks back that much. Is hindered by the armor, and these are all pinless joints, and the articulation is hidden very well. You can see kind of the rivets right there for the joint, and the second one's hidden down on this boot armor, if you will. Not boot, but you know what I mean. And with the ankle, it's on a rocker, so tilt, toe point down and up, and he has a toe hinge. Also, I did not go over the elbows. They are and also I didn't go over the elbows. They are, I believe, I thought they were double jointed, but I guess they are single jointed elbows, so you get that much of a bend. And a swivel at the forearm. And I believe, no, there is no, I think there is a butterfly joint in there, but I'm not getting any motion out of it. Not that I can, well, okay, so this one on my left is frozen. I just broke it loose a little bit. So you do get some movement out of the butterfly joints. That'll be better on the bare bodies. With the armor right here, it's more hindered. But yeah, okay, that does come forward a good bit. So yeah, that's a lot better than I initially thought. Yeah. And then, of course, swivel at the wrist. The hands do pop off pretty easy. They swap out pretty easy. So let's compare this guy, size-wise, to some other figures. And I did almost forget, I wanted to point out that this tail is articulated. It's got 1, 2, 3, and then one more at the base. So 4 points of articulation in that tail. He's not going to want to stand up, but I also, be careful. Don't just throw your box away. This was kind of hidden in the box. There is like a little hint on the box somewhere saying, oh, check behind the map. You get like a oversized, it's kind of like a stat card. I don't know if they're all the same or if it's random. This is a hooded Savage. So I don't know if the same card comes with, like if you would guarantee get this card with every Royal Guard, or if it's random. It's in a foil packaging behind that map, so make sure you check your box, check behind that map insert before you throw your box away. Maybe they're going to do something with this going forward. Maybe I just don't know about it, but yeah, check for that. And as far as size goes, let's get the handy dandy ruler out. And it looks like our Royal Guard comes out to right about a hair under 7 inches tall. And here we have our Lemurian Royal Guard next to a Mythic Legions Dubon figure and the McFarlane DC Multiverse Captain Carrot. The Dubon's more of that Mythic Legion 6-inch scale, Captain Carrot's that McFarlane 7-inch scale, but you can see he really scales well with both, and he will pair perfectly with your Mythic Legions in your collection. And for some more basic 6-inch scale figure size comparisons, we've got our Royal Guard next to the Marvel Legends Hugh Jackman Wolverine and the Mafex Hush Superman. So you can see that this guy will just fit perfectly in your collection, basically with any of your 6-inch figures, and you can fudge them in with 7-inch. I think this line is just that perfect size. So, my final thoughts on the Savage Crucible Lemurian Guard. First of all, for this to be their first wave of figures, this thing is absolutely amazing. But it's not without its detractors. I really wish the weapon holsters held a little tighter, although, like I said, I understand if they want to make it modular. But those ankles are the biggest thing they really need to work on. Those ankles, getting those to stand up easy, well, stand up better. And send a stand with the figures if you have to, because, like I said, I haven't been able to find a right peg stand to fit that peg hole in the bottom of the feet. So it'd be nice to see those ankles fixed, and go ahead and include a nice little stand just to help it stand up even better. But I'm really excited to see Wave 2 when that finally gets in people's hands. I'm not sure who I'm picking up from that wave. I probably am going to pick one figure and just be really selective going forward. But yeah, I definitely would recommend this line to anybody collecting 1/12 scale figures, especially if you're into Mythic Legions. I do want to say, if you're new to the channel, make sure you tune in to my live streams every Saturday at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's kind of a late stream, but we have a lot of fun. I try to have guests on and everything. But until next time, I appreciate you guys.